Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Pittsburgh Steelers divided over quarterbacks as blockbuster trades considered. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in a state of confusion when it comes to their quarterback situation. The franchise reportedly can't decide whether to stick with Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph or bring in a blockbuster addition such as Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, or Russell Wilson. This past season, the Steelers had 3 different quarterbacks, and now they're thinking about either trading or drafting a new starter, according to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Some in the organization believe Rudolph should be the main quarterback because he won all 3 games he started before the playoff loss to the Buffalo Bills. Pickett was the main quarterback for most of the games until he got hurt, and backup Mitch Trubisky also played. But the Steelers have already said goodbye to Trubisky, and Rudolph might also leave after reaching the end of his contract, which would leave them short of quarterbacks. They're interested in Chicago Bears quarterback Fields, but they'd have to trade for him. The Bears had the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft and need to decide whether to use it on Caleb Williams or keep Fields, and maybe add Marvin Harrison Jr. to their wide receivers. Cousins or Tannehill, who are set to become free agents, are also possibilities, as is Wilson from the Denver Broncos, who is expected to leave his team. It's unlikely that they'll draft a new quarterback, especially since Pickett only joined in 2022. The Steelers will need to add more players around Joey Porter Jr. and Patrick Peterson at cornerback and might also need to strengthen their offensive line. Fields is particularly admired by Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. This was revealed by ESPN's Adam Schefter on The Pat McAfee Show. He said, "We know the Pittsburgh Steelers is gonna go out and get some type of quarterback. Whether that's Ryan Tannehill, whether that's Russell Wilson, whether that's Justin Fields. Mike Tomlin's a big fan of Justin Fields. We'll keep that in mind during the offseason and the coming weeks." The future of head coach Tomlin could also be a factor, with the 51-year-old facing questions last season. Tomlin hasn't brought a Super Bowl to Pittsburgh since the 2008 season, and the team's standards have been criticized, despite the franchise being joint record holders of Lombardi trophies. Legendary Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Hines Ward said, "The standard in Pittsburgh is all about winning Super Bowls. We're very blessed." He added, "We won 6 Super Bowls in our organization. But we haven't won in a while, so that's the one thing that probably, Tomlin is, lacking on his shelves of great accomplishments, and bringing another Super Bowl back to the city of Pittsburgh." NFL News Roundup, latest league updates from Tuesday, February 20th. RB Mike Davis, who most recently played for the Ravens in 2022, announced Monday that he was retiring. Davis, who turned 31 on Monday, played for the 49ers, Seahawks, Bears, Panthers, Falcons, and Ravens. He rushed for 2,052 yards and 14 touchdowns in his career. DL Cameron Hayward on Monday posted a picture on Instagram following an unspecified surgery. "Surgery done finally." Hayward captioned the photo. "Ready to get back to feeling good." John Glenn has been hired as assistant special team coach, finalizing head coach Dan Quinn's 2024 staff, the team announced. Is Justin Fields really an option for the Steelers? Steelers Nation was shaken up this past week after ESPN's Adam Schefter shared a comment that Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin is a big fan of Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields. Tomlin's potential interest in Fields shouldn't surprise anyone. During the owners' meeting ahead of the 2022 NFL Draft, Tomlin said, "Quarterback mobility is a more significant part of the game than it's ever been. You can't get a much more mobile quarterback than Fields." After making that comment, the Steelers went on to select Pittsburgh Panthers quarterback Kenny Pickett with the number 20 overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. Pickett is not in the realm of the athlete that Fields is, however. Pickett can escape the pocket and scramble. Fields, however, can escape the pocket and run for a long touchdown. There's a noticeable difference there that might be intriguing for the type of offense they're looking to build. The Steelers haven't had a rushing threat from the quarterback position since Cordell Stewart. There's something to be said for having a quarterback who can tuck the ball and scramble for 40 yards, and that is something that Fields can offer his team. However, can he be more than that? Does it make sense for the Steelers to surrender the necessary draft capital to get Fields? Why is he potentially available? Before answering those questions, we'll go back to the beginning. Maybe the Steelers did have had some interest in Fields back then in the pre-draft process. Ben Roethlisberger didn't look the same during the 2020 NFL season as he had before the elbow injury. Maybe they could have drafted Fields and he could have sat and watched Roethlisberger for a season then take over. However, Fields was drafted by the Bears at number 11 overall that year, and the Steelers opted for Pickett in the following draft. Now, it could be time for the Steelers to revisit that interest of Fields, if there really ever was any, via the trade market. Fields started his career with then-head Matt Nagy, who probably didn't get the most of him early on. In fact, Nagy didn't do a lot of things well, and he was ultimately fired by the Bears following the 2022 season. They hired Matt Eberflus as the head coach in 2022, though the jury is still out on whether or not he's the answer long-term. Unfortunately, regardless of the coaching staff around him, Fields hasn't made that jump you want to see from a quarterback as a passer. He'll be entering his fourth NFL season in 2024, averaging just 167 passing yards, 1 TD, and 0.75 INTs per game. Of course, Fields can be every bit the rushing threat that Lamar Jackson is, but the Bears haven't gotten the progression as a passer. A quarterback can't just make one passing read, tuck the ball, and run. Defensive coordinators scheme too well, and there are a lot of defenders who are too fast to get away with that regularly. If you watch Justin Fields drop back to throw, and the defense maintains their gap assignments, you just don't get that feeling that Chicago has a chance to come back if they get down. Turnovers have also played a big part in the ups and downs of Fields' career thus far. In his short career, Fields has turned the football over 55 times, including interceptions and lost fumbles. That's not sustainable. A number like that will scare off teams in pursuit of a quarterback who wants to play a ball control style offense, such as the Steelers. Beyond the question marks about Fields, it's also worth noting that the Bears own, via trade with the Carolina Panthers, the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Most analysts expect the Bears to use that pick and select USC quarterback Caleb Williams, and Vegas agrees, with -400 odds of being selected by the Bears and -900 odds of being drafted first off the board. If Caleb Williams is the generational quarterback he's been billed as, it would be organizational malfeasance by Bears general manager Ryan Poles to pass on that kind of difference-maker at the quarterback. Unless a team is willing to make a Ricky Williams type of trade offer to get up to number 1 overall. With assumption off the board, let's take a look at the type of trade package the Steelers would have to offer to acquire Fields. And you fan, what do you think of the Justin Fields situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.